house, and Jupiter aligns with Mars.
Then peace will guide the planets,
And love will steer the stars. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius. 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 Harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust abounding. No more falsehoods or derisions, golden living dreams of visions,
mystic crystal revelation,
and the mind's true liberation. Aquarius, Aquarius.
when the moon is in the 7th house, and Jupiter aligns with Mars.
Then peace will guide the planets, and love will steer the stars. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Age of Aquarius. 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 Hey there, people all around the world, men and women, boys and girls. The time has come to occupy. It's much too late to judge and cry. Think about a love revolution, and it's here again. And it's time to let the sun shine in. Come together and sing out strong. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine in. The sun shine in. Let the sun shine. Let the sun shine in. The sun shine in. All around the world. Let the sun shine. Come together. Let the sun shine. Sunshine. Sunshine. Everybody sing. Let the sun shine. Open up your hearts. Let the sun shine. Sunshine. Come together and sing out strong for a peaceful planet where we all belong. Replace all fears with love and grace. We are different shades of one human race. It's the place to chase. The revolution is here again. It's near again. The resolution will now begin for all to let the sun shine in.
didn't know no happiness till I found God. Now there's nothing else I need. So my wish for you, my friend, is for this peace that never ends. Find it in the deepest place. Carry it with you all the way. And there's nothing else I need. No, there's nothing else I need. Since I
Heart is breaking today, but I'm not broken yet. I try to be optimistic, even though I'm upset. I won't live in fear of this great unknown. Life as we knew it is gone forever. What will it be like the next time we're together? I'm keeping the faith. We'll see a better day. Look for the rainbow in this dark, gloomy sky. I'm full of questions and I wanna know why we're at this place with no turning back. I pray when I wake up and when I go to sleep for a miracle to happen. We're in trouble deep and I'm keeping the faith. We'll see a better day. There's a time for everything, everything in its time. I'm holding on by a thread before I lose my mind. How much more suffering can this world stand? We're all socially distanced, we can't go anywhere. How did we get here? Sometime life's unfair. I'm keeping the faith. We'll see a better day. I look for the rainbow in this dark, gloomy sky. I'm full of questions and I wanna know why we're at this place with no turning back. I pray when I wake up and when I go to sleep for a miracle to happen. We're in trouble deep and I'm keeping the faith. We'll see a better day. Then I think of all I have to be thankful for. My family and friends, I need nothing more. I choose to live in joy, no one can take away. I hold my head up high, I keep pressing on to the prize before me. When it's over and done, I'm keeping the faith to see a better day. I look for the rainbow in this dark, gloomy sky. I'm full of questions and I wanna know why we're at this place with no turning back. I pray when I wake up and when I go to sleep for a miracle to happen. We're in trouble deep and I'm keeping the faith. We'll see a better day. I'm keeping the faith. We'll see a better day. We'll see a better day. We'll see a better day.
For the greater good of all, the greater good of all, the greater good of all. I am here for the greater good of all, the greater good of all. You are here for the greater good of all, the greater good of all, the greater good of all. You are here for the greater good of all, the greater good of all. We are here for the greater good of all, the greater good of all, the greater good of all. We are here for the greater good of all, the greater good of all. For the greater good of all, the greater good of all, the greater good of all. I am here for the greater good of all, the greater good of all. You are here for the greater good of all, the greater good of all, the greater good of all. You are here for the greater good of all, the greater good of all. We are here for the greater good of all, greater good of all, greater good of all.
I am just welcome to the People of Diversity Sunday service. We are a multi-faith community, and we believe there are many paths to one divinity. To reach that destination, we have a group of 9 speakers from 9 different faith perspectives, and we couple them with one of 9 musicians, positive artist musicians, and we give them a topic, typically a single word or 2, and that's all we give them. No hints. don't tell them what viewpoint to take. And they put their talk and their music together and send it all to Philip, and he puts together the Sunday service. So how can you help this process? You can go to www.peopleofdiversity.org and press that donate button and help us keep this going. We are in the topic of grief right now, and it's just been really, really powerful.
Incredible, yeah.
Really powerful and amazing. So let's keep this party rolling, and go to that website and make a donation.
So last week we had Rabbi Pat Hickman. An amazing talk, and coupled with Bob and Shannon, it was perfect.
Yeah.
Today we have Wiccan Oracle, Louis Valadez, and he's connected with David Roth. And next week we will have Sue Bailey and Melanie England together once again, dancing at the pod. So you can pick up past services on our Facebook pages, People of Diversity. There's a group and a page. You can go to either one, go to the live section, and in chronological order, you'll find all of the past services. Gosh, I've sent 3 or 4 people just dealing with grief and just, check in. And I've sent them to various past talks on grief that have just happened. And it's been quite powerful to be able to have that tool right there to send someone when you know just a little bit of their perspective, and you can deliver an exact talk in the right moment. It was very powerful. Following the morning services, every Sunday we have a deep dive. It's from 11:45 to 12:15 precisely. We end it right at 12:15, so as not to steal your afternoon, and it can be something you can depend on and plan into your day. Second service happens Sundays at 5:45. The prelude happens then 6 o'clock for the service. And that's what gets pinned to the top of the page, and what you can send folks back to or go back and visit again yourself. I know that we really enjoy going back and spending time with that second service. Me with a pen and paper, so I can really stick it in there. But it's been quite powerful, especially this last 2, prayer and grief, have been quite profound. I've really enjoyed both of them. So you can't get watch parties anymore. You have to get notifications from the Facebook page, because I always say live. That's why we're going through this process. So reach out onto Facebook, People of Diversity, and click into one of them. We'll of course accept your request, and that's how you'll get notifications. We never go crazy on the page. We only do one event a week, and that's our Sunday service, and that's all you'll hear from us. Unless you want to check in with us, and then we're always there. So
each week we are blessing a country, and so next week we're blessing Antigua and Barbuda. So if you know anything about Antigua and Barbuda, please send it to us at the email address below, and we will use it in our country blessing. This week we are blessing Angola. Angola is located in South Central Africa, and it was a Portuguese colony but gained their independence in 1975. During the 17th and 18th centuries, over 1 million slaves were transported from Angola to Brazil. Oil accounts for 88% of the country's exports, and it has one of the world's fastest growing economies, but 40% of Angolans live below the poverty line. Angola's population is extremely young, and the median age is just under 16 years old. Angola has the second highest fertility rate in the world, and each woman averages about 6 children. That's a lot of children. No wonder their age is so young. There are many more women than men because so many men have been lost to wars, and it's not uncommon for one man to have several wives. The giant sable antelope was thought to be extinct since 1982, but was rediscovered in Angola in 2006. And it remains classified as an endangered species. And one of Angola's claims to fame that I kept seeing over and over is it's home to Calundula Falls, which is 344-foot high waterfall and is 1,300 feet wide. So let's hold the people of Angola in our hearts. They need our love and our energy and our prayers. And let's say these words together. May peace prevail in Angola. May peace prevail on earth. May peace prevail in me. Thank you. So, David Roth. Before COVID, we start so many sentences with that. Before COVID, David came to the pod many times, came to Brevard County. If he didn't come to the pod, he came somewhere around and we would make a journey to go see him. So he's been a long time friend. We use a lot of his music in the Way Through workshop, and he's just been part of this community. Even though he lives way up north, he's been part of this community for a long time, and I'm sure that what he always makes something special just for us on our Sunday service, and so I'm sure we're going to enjoy whatever it is he has to offer on Greif. And Louis Valadez, Oracle, is our Wiccan representative, and to me, Oracle is the perfect combination of teaching and feeling. He feels everything. He comes straight from his heart, and it's always very, very educational, but it's also very touching. And so let's see what they have to say about Greif, and we'll see you on the other side.
Hi, David Roth here, and a song that I wrote with my friend Melinda Wood Allen. There are days that are simply not okay. You get out of bed, you're on your way. This is one of those. There are cheerleaders and those who'd pump you up with platitudes and words that don't mean much. Not much at all. Oh, my friend, I will meet you where you are. I won't throw flower petals on your wounded heart. If it's not okay, we won't pretend. But if it's not okay, it's not the end. Aren't you stronger than you ever used to be? At least that's the way it seems to me. If not to you, aren't you the one who's made it all this way? No matter what those voices in your head might say, it's up to you. Oh, my friend, I will meet you where you are. I won't throw flower petals on your wounded heart. If it's not okay, we won't pretend. But if it's not okay, it's not the end. looking through this broken glass. This too shall pass. There are times that are simply not okay. What you do with them, you get to say. You get to say, oh my friend, I will meet you where you are. I won't throw flower petals on your wounded heart. If it's not okay, we won't pretend. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. This song is based on an amazing true story about John and Josie Politano living on Cape Cod, where I now live. They adopted a little boy and named him John Jr., Johnny. And about 20 years into this family adventure, Johnny came home to his parents with the AIDS virus. And this was in the mid-1990s. So to say that the lenses through which they viewed the world were forever changed would be an understatement. And their response was the inspiration for this song. John and Josie's only child, young and handsome, fast and wild, joined the army at 18. Left the army at 18. Drifted then from job to job, town to town and love to love. 7 years forever till young Johnny came marching home. But Johnny wasn't looking well. Went into the hospital. Days turned into several weeks. Johnny kept on losing weight. Josie said to John, sit down. John cried, oh God, not my son. Johnny left at 25. A hole as big as Jupiter. There's nothing stronger than love John and Josie had for Johnny. Threw him his last birthday party. No one from the family came. No one from the family came. Turned John and Josie's grief to shame. Shame to anger, anger, pain. Nothing they needed more of. Now 2 years gone, the telephone is ringing in the dim-lit den. Beneath the wooden crucifix that John had punched the day he learned that Johnny wouldn't live much longer. Now a voice said to his father, John, we have a baby here. No one seems to want him. The baby doesn't have his parents. He's 2 months old and with their virus. Josie grabbed the phone from John. The two of them said yes, yes, yes. So John and Josie, over 60, taking in a brand new baby, named him Paul Antonio. Johnny would have loved him. There's nothing stronger than the love that John and Josie had for Johnny, the same love that they have for Paul. They're starting up the wheel again, and of the fear the same could happen, losing Paul before his time comes. John and Josie look right past it. They're basking in love's mighty presence. John and Josie don't have time. They're basking in love's mighty presence. Love's mighty presence.
Hi, good morning, everybody. This is Oracle Hekatios. It is good to see everyone again this morning. I want to thank People of Diversity, Becky and Scott, for hosting me this morning, and for our musical guests. What a powerful time of music and song. And hopefully in our topic today of grief, as I present from a Wiccan perspective, there will be something that will speak to you. And I want to thank you for inviting me into your homes this morning, and subsequently for allowing me to talk to you, open up to you about my spirituality, my experience today. Again, my name is Oracle. I am a Wiccan, that is, I am a witch. I will be speaking on a topic called today on grief. Before I begin, I would like to have a disclaimer, as I do per usual talk. The topics I talk about today are from my personal experience, and there are philosophical points that may or may not be agreed upon by many Wiccans or witches. Some may agree with me, some may not, and that's okay. We have these discussions around the cauldron all the time, and you know, we are more than happy to have these heavy debates on philosophical points, but these much more triggering topics of grief can be highly sensitive for many top folks. So I just want to put out there that this is content heavy, and I hope that today your spirit opens up, and I pray that whatever goes on today, spirit speaks to you. Grief has been my companion for many years. The Greek goddess of grief is a goddess by the name of Izus. And Izus is the goddess of grief, of depression, anxiety, of misery, really. And her twin brother is Mamus, who is the god of blame. So you see where blame and grief come into play together as children. They are related very much so. And it's very easy to be caught up in the fact that with grief comes blame, with anxiety comes blame. And I know that I fall into this cycle. Excuse me. Since in 2012, I had a car accident in which I sustained a traumatic brain injury. And prior to that, I worked diligently in my life to be sure that I was successful in my job, in my work, in everything that I did. You know, I worked myself to the top in every job I held, whether it was grocery manager, whether it was teller manager, whether it was restaurant manager, putting myself through school, becoming a medical assistant, whatever the case may have been, becoming a lead medical assistant, surgical tech. I came from a fundamentalist background in which I was told in no uncertain terms many times that without that systemic support, I could not be successful. Especially when I left, it was like, you will be nothing without us. So I had to fight hard this mental curse that weighed heavy on my heart that, oh my gosh, I have to prove these people wrong. I have to be successful. And I had to build this image up of myself. But then my accident happened. And the image that I had built up of myself surrounding my identity, hinging on work and job and school, was taken away. And when that was taken away, I began to grieve. Swiss American psychiatrist Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross states that grief has 5 stages. And it begins with denial, then anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. These are her 5 stages of grief. Denial, and then at first the catastrophe occurs and you're in denial of the situation. You deny that this is going on, that you very much are pushing for change, which leads to anger, that you're angry that the situation is what it is, that you want it to be different, that you're pushing for it to be different, that it's basically a temper tantrum to the universe. And of course, this leads to bargaining. Well, universe, if you do this for me, I'll do that for you, or I'll get better, or you find yourself in some kind of semblance of bargaining, or even if you don't believe in something out there, you to yourself, I will get through this. I will do this. I will do that. If I achieve this much, I will be satisfied if I get this far. Little by little, my little goals, your little goal making, your steps. The parts where you start setting up goals for yourself and then failing those goals, because it does happen. It does happen. And then finally, because of the failure, you sink into depression, which of course leads to suicidal thinking. And I've reached stages of suicidal thinking, which leads to something that I call dark logic. I call it dark logic. What is dark logic? Dark logic is my name that I coined for a time when it is the only logical conclusion is to end your life. There is nothing that will pull you out of it. Nothing. You are the only person that can do it. No psychiatrist, no therapist, no medication, nothing. No family, no children, no spouse. You're the only one. Because for all intents and purposes, it's over. You're in pain. You just wanted to be done. Because all you feel is intense pain. You are just so tired. You just want to lay down and not get back up. And grief is a powerful grip on the mind and on the heart. And it closes you. And if you believe in energy centers, it literally just shuts you down. Even if you don't believe in them, even if you don't believe in energy centers, there's something about grief that's a clamp on your person, on your emotions, your physical stature, rather than being up, proud, and your chest out and shoulders back. You just, your demeanor changes. It shows that you're in grief. As a Wiccan, we explore grief and these kinds of occurrences, or we try to. There's really no universal, we call it shadow work. Shadow work. That is Carl, a psychiatrist by the name of Carl Gustav Jung, who was a student of Sigmund Freud. Back in the 1920s, Jung coined the term archetypes, and which were supposedly these universal imprints that were shared, these mythological imprints that were shared by humanity, that seemed like everybody had similar experiences. And he took these experiences and imprinted them in these boxes and said these characters, these imprints, these mythological characterizations, no matter what culture, seem to be cross-cultural. They seem to happen to everybody, in myth, in legend, whatever you want to call it. And one of those is called the shadow, or the evil, or the accuser, or the cultural devil, or whatever you want to call it, whereby the individual has the negative, repressed side of themselves, and it is almost like an other, and it is an integral part of you, just like your shadow is a part of you. It's called the shadow. It's the dark side of you, your dark side. Not necessarily your evil side, but it is a dark side. And your dark side in that it is your repressed thoughts, your repressed emotions, your repressed feelings, your repressed words and thoughts, sensations, memories, everything. And this work to heal your being, and you work with your shadow and integrate parts of your shadow in with yourself, with your light. We call it shadow work. I call it journey of the underworld journey, underworld energy. Very dense, very triggering, very traumatic. A lot can happen with this kind of work. And it takes a lot of professional help. It takes a lot of, sometimes you may need to be in medicines. You may need spiritual counseling as an adjunct to professional therapy. You may need, you need strong family support system, strong friendship support system. There's lots of things that you need in order to get through shadow work, because it's never ending. You're always going through it at some point in your life. But anyway, let's go back to grief. We call it the dark spiral. Spirals are our sacred symbol in Wicca and in witchcraft. A spiral. they represent descent, rebirth. If it's counterclockwise. If it's clockwise, if it's a clockwise spiral from the in going out, it represents birth. If it's from clockwise, if it's counterclockwise, that is from out going in to the center, it is the journey of death into the underworld. And the dark spiral, we call that widdershins, the widdershins walk, or counterclockwise. Clockwise is Jeshel, and counterclockwise is widdershins. And there are 4 things that are normally occur in the dark spiral journey. There is rest, just ground yourself. There is incubation. Incubation is like rest. It's like animals in the wild who are bitten or who are stung or who are sick, and they need to go under a tree or in a den or in a cave, and they incubate. They go to hide in order to heal. So when it's different than rest in that you're hiding. You're purposefully cloaking yourself away from the world, away from the things that trigger you, away from the things that are distracting you at that point. You need to retreat into yourself. You need to incubate, is the word. And then that, of course, leads to healing, inner healing. Mind, emotions, spirit, inner healing, inner transformation, memories, emotional links, ancestral healing, working with spirits around you that connect you to hearth and home. There's a lot of intense work here that we talk about when it comes to inner healing. And then finally, the 4th thing that it leads to is after inner healing is transformation. Inner healing you can think of as the active process of someone actually pushing you to become the butterfly, the suke, the soul, the living soul, the active soul. There's a great mystery here of symbols and experiences. And this kind of darkness, this dark work, is sacred to the dark goddesses, the dark gods in Wicca, the horned lord, the horned god of death and rebirth and resurrection, and the dark goddess of death and rebirth, of winter and autumn, and the scythe, and the threshing of the grain, the womb, and so the womb and the tomb. And so the dark goddesses like, Hecate, Persephone, dark gods like Wasir or Osiris, when he as king of the dead, as lord of the dead. Many others have many other dark underworld deities who have come up to see this threshing grain, this that come up from the underworld and go back down. Many high gods have dark counterparts. For example, you have Apollo of the sky, who also has an underworld cavern aspect. Apollo of the underworld. This underworld aspect is the incubator, the healer. And so he is the one of the caverns and the one who brings in respite and grounding, rejuvenation to those who come into his presence. When I was in my journey of grief, it seemed like Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's, going back, those 5 steps were always intermingled. There was no clear delineation between the 5. And I was just always grieving. I was crying. I was scared. And I was just upset. And, you know, a lot of this stuff I had to discover on my own, because a lot of times the craft itself did not have a way, a language, so to speak, of speaking forth what I needed to express. So I needed to dig deep into my other paths and extrapolate the data and bring it into Wicca and say, okay, this is the language that we need, that I need. And it's this acknowledgement, not that Wicca does not acknowledge darkness, but that how do we acknowledge grief and fear and anger and deal with it? I grieved for 8 years. The loss of who I was. I didn't know who I was. I pretend to keep a smile, but I didn't know who I was. And I just didn't know where to turn. I had no job, no identity. I couldn't do the work I used to do. I was fatigued. I was ill, disabled. I am disabled, but I'm fighting. And as an adjunct to therapy, I did a lot of elemental work with my coven, a lot of work with the 4 elements, earth, air, fire, and water, which is a spiritual journey. That is a spiritual journey through the 4 elements, metaphorically speaking, in that we learn to find balance with attributes of those elemental tides within ourselves and around in the world around us, earth, air, fire, and water, and their correspondences, so that we can better become whole as human beings. And so there is the active sides of earth, air, fire, and water, and then there's the passive dark sides of earth, air, fire, and water. For air, there is the understanding, the dark side, the passive side, to wonder, to understand, to wonder, to be awed, to be enthralled, to be enchanted again. I had to start from the beginning from grief, and I had to remember what it was to be a child again and to wonder. And then finally, I had to learn again. From there, I had to learn again how to surrender. Fire. I had to learn how to surrender. I had to learn how to give over to the circumstances. And from there, West Water, I had to accept what happened to me. And then finally, with North Earth, I had to resonate. Once my vibration changed, with my energy changed within, I could then match without. And I'm telling you, my heart broke. It was like my heart was like stone for years. It just became harder. With each passing year, it just became harder. And finally, something cracked and it just broke. And my heart just came alive. And I began to cry uncontrollably. And I fell into the arms of the gods and my presence and the presence of the divine and those that loved me. And I said, this is who I am. And I found my way back of my grief. I found there is no timeline for grief. And then 2 years ago, or rather last year, then I lost my father. It was very traumatic. Very traumatic. I won't go into details for that because that's a whole other story. But once I healed from grief, from losing my work, and I began to find a new way to have an identity, and I had family, I lost my dad. And that was new grief. But what I learned over the years is that there's no timeline for grief. Everyone will grieve differently. Everyone will grieve in their own way, in their own time. Some grief will end, some grief will never end. Each person is unique, each person is different. And that's the way it should be. We cannot dictate to others the pace of grief, of Jesus, and how Jesus is united with Momu's blame. But by facing it, facing her head on, and saying to her, I see you, I acknowledge you, but I will not let you overtake me forever. You can move forward. It's a difficult journey, but you can do it. You can, you must, you will. It is difficult. Grief is not something that anybody wants to experience. We try our best to drown ourselves in other distractions just so we don't experience grief, whether it's alcohol, drugs, whatever the case may be. We try to get our endorphins and our serotonin going and our dopamine going as much as possible, but in the end, it is all just a mask. We are grieving. We need to experience the grief if we are going to heal. I want to thank you. Thank you for inviting me to your home. Thank you for allowing me the privilege of speaking with you today. I want to thank again Becky and Scott. I want to thank everyone who is a part of this interfaith program. I want to thank the musical guests. And I would like to thank just all of you out there. So as we say, blessed be, and have a wonderful day. Thank you. Enjoy. Bye-bye.
Thank you, David. As usual, per Becky's billing, amazing. Thank you for always showing up. And Louis, the same, man. Thank you for bringing your heart, for bringing your passion, and for guiding us, for teaching. I know it's part of your passion, and it truly comes through. Mr. Lupo, thank you, sir, for all that you do for us. It is truly a gift, and we are very, very grateful. Folks, if you need anything out there in the audio visual, whether in person or virtually, please check into Philip. He will take care of everything you need in life.
Sorry, Philip.
I had to. I just couldn't. Yes. So if you're watching this service in the morning, Then immediately following this service, we have a deep dive. That's from 11:45 to 12:15 precisely, so as not to dig into your afternoon. It gives us an opportunity to hang out, to visit, to actually talk to each other. Again, virtually on Zoom, and the password is truth if it requires it. And if you're watching the evening service, this one is pinned to the top of the page, and you can send folks back or venture back yourself later on in the week. And again, you can pick us up at the Facebook pages on Facebook, People of Diversity, whether it be a page or the group. And next week we have Reverend Sue Bailey, and she's going to talk again on grief, but she'll be joined by Melanie England. I think that's all I know.
That's good. That's good. So again, if you'd like to help support this effort, go to www.peopleofdiversity.org and make a donation. It can be a regular tithe or a one-time love offering, whatever you feel led to do, but we really appreciate it. So let's just take a minute and take a deep breath. We say, thank you, Spirit. Thank you for the abundance that you share, that we share as a community. Everything that we are so blessed to have, our amazing speakers, our musicians, Philip, all of the people that watch and participate, even if it's just sending their love and their energy. We really, really are grateful, and we say amen. Okay, last thing, don't click off yet. We're going to do our energetic healing circle. If you know people or situations that could use a little extra love, we're going to just sit for a couple of minutes, listen to this closing song, and send your energy out. Just physically feel it, send it out to the world, to those people that you're bringing into your mind, and open up yourself, because it's a circle and it's all energy, and if you allow it, it will come in and heal your heart, I promise. So let's just thank you for joining us, and we will see you at the deep dive or tonight at the second service if you're watching the morning, or sometime during the week or next week. So just have a good week. Thanks.
One power, one power, one power. One power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of